Hey everyone, I'm just going to give it a couple minutes while I get my screen shared over here for people to join in. We did have quite a few registrations for today. All right, looks like we got a few people who have joined us here and a couple more popping in. Aaron, can you just let me know? Can you hear me all right?
Yep, sounds good.
Perfect, thank you. Excellent. Well, I have my screen up. Let's just go ahead and get started here. So welcome everyone to our Runding Demo Day. My name is Shannon. I'm going to be the presenter. I'm here at Runding. I am the product evangelist for the product team.
And I'm Aaron. I'm the project manager and tech lead for rSchedule, so I'll be answering any questions you have today.
So today's overview is going to be our schedule at its core for Kahua. We're going to talk about it a little bit before we dive into a live demonstration. And we are going to have the QA turned on for this. So for anyone unfamiliar with Teams webinar, the QA icons at the top of your Teams interface, please, as you have questions, don't hesitate, put them right in the chat. Aaron is going to be moderating them, and there may be some breaks during my presentation where we'll answer them, and any that are left over, we will answer at the end. We do have time built in for that, or any that we have to take online, we will follow up with people directly. But before we jump into our schedule, I want to chat a little bit about who we are. So Runding has partnered with Kahua for over 6 years, and our developers are experienced with not only how the platform works, but Kahua's mission. We've worked with them on some of their most in-depth integrations, including GSA, which led to the development of our schedule. So our applications are designed to look just like they're any other Kahua application. And like Kahua's applications, our roadmap is heavily influenced by user feedback. So call back to that Q&A. Please use that because that definitely helps us with our future roadmaps. So diving right in here, what's our schedule? This unlocks the data that you already have in your scheduling software, be that Primavera or Microsoft Project, and makes it available across multiple Kahua applications. You pull in the schedule data from P6 or Microsoft Project, and it goes right into Kahua. So I like to think of this on a 3-step process. Your first step, you're using Kahua for your project management system. All of your project management handled inside of Kahua. The scheduling software is siloed somewhere else. The next step, you add our schedule, and that is adopted to start bridging that gap between your schedule data and Kahua. Usually, only 1 or 2 people on a project are your schedulers. They are the only ones with access to that schedule file. So this starts connecting all of the time and material data from your scheduler into Kahua's ecosystem. And then the third step is adding on a paid edition called Earn Value. We're not going to be covering that today, but essentially that deepens the connection with Kahua and bridges out that our schedule data into your cost applications. So let's look at some of the areas Kahua connects your schedule data. So we're looking at milestones first. This is actually an extension on the core Kahua milestone app where your schedule data coming from either Primavera or Microsoft drives the dates for your milestones. We also link out to your work breakdown structure, and your company and contacts is a lookup field. So you can attach specific WBS codes or companies and contacts right to each schedule task or the schedule record itself. And I'll be going over that a little bit more in depth during the live demonstration. And finally, Kahua's asset-driven mindset, we have unlocked assets to be linked to specific schedule tasks. So you can see your schedules in the asset area, and you can link your assets within the schedule area. Diving a little deeper, so here's how it works. We have two pathways, whether you're using Primavera or Microsoft Project. So from the top, your schedule document, whichever you use, maintains the source of truth. You continue making changes within the schedule software as your project progresses. Essentially, with Primavera specifically, we take those project activities. Once you get all of those in, you export an XER file, and then through Kahua, you import that, which creates the schedule task. Microsoft Project side, very similar. You create your project and those project tasks, save your Microsoft Project file, import the same way, it turns those into your scheduled tasks. And then every time you have a revision, you're either exporting an updated XER file or saving a new Microsoft Project file. So very simple. And where does this fit into the normal work cycle? We find that most users leverage rSchedule starting with the planning phase of a project, and then they continue using it with the revision process throughout all the execution stage, where that additional visibility is most important to the overall project performance. And this is the tool that allows you to really monitor and control your project through your planning and execution. So where we're really going to start is that planning phase. So once your project enters into planning, you have a schedule activity created with at least, for P6, at least some of your planned dates, but all of those estimated dates ready to go. Then you're going to create that initial schedule record inside of Kahua. And with that, we're actually going to take a look at the process with a live demonstration while I pull up Kahua here. So you'll see on your screen, this is Kahua's rSchedule program. We don't have any schedules here. For the live demonstration, I'm going to run through how you create the record, and then I'm going to go into a record that's already been created and is in that execution phase so you can see how things look. Let's give us a little bit more real estate here. So on your screen, this application doesn't have any records associated to it yet. Across the top, we have schedules, tasks, performance as part of earned value, so I won't be covering that in this demonstration, and revisions. So our record is here under schedules, our details will be under tasks, and any future revisions is in that revision tab where you can actually look at, if you needed to go back to a previous version, you could download that file and open it back up in either P6 or Microsoft Project. So let's get started. We're going to click New. Give it a moment. And you'll see, if you're familiar with Kahua, this looks like a creation of any other record, like a contract or an RFI. We have details, comments, and references. So we're going to give this a name. So this is a washer, dryer install for an apartment. We'll just call it apartment 12. You have some options here. I'm not going to touch on everything, but from a very broad standpoint, an external schedule, if you choose this allows you to select a vendor and a vendor contact. If you had an outside contractor sending in the schedule for you, you could toggle that and it would assign that to it. Start and end date, that comes in from your schedule data, so we don't put anything in here. Task links, this is on by default. This allows us to pull in any predecessors and successors from the schedule file directly into Kahua. So we're going to go here to schedule file. And I'm going to grab my P6 one that I already have saved. You can add additional comments here. And we put in the effective date. This is also known as the data date. So this is the date that the record is effective through. So I cheat and put the data date on my demo records. So all the information here is valid through December 6th of last year. And if we had any additional description or comments, we'd put them here, but we've got everything we need. So we're just going to save the record. So this is creating that record inside of Kahua. This is attaching the schedule document into Kahua. So all that's left is to hit submit. Hitting the submit button starts the workflow and starts the extraction of all of that schedule data that's within P6, within that XCR file, and turns it into those scheduled tasks. Any automatic links that we have, be it to the work breakdown structure, assets, or milestones, they'll start to connect here as well. So we're going to give this just a couple seconds to process. Aaron, if there are any quick questions that we can address while this is processing, that would be great.
None just yet, but that's to be expected.
No problem. Yeah, sometimes it can take a little bit longer for the initial schedule to extract. We are also in a dev environment, which does tend to run a little bit slower, but when I tested it this morning, it wasn't taking too long. We'll just give this a moment. And while we're waiting, I'm actually going to open up milestones. So you'll see here, obviously, I don't have this one set up for automatic linking. We have 3 milestones: pre-construction, construction, and closeout. So I don't have any dates here. Once that schedule is extracted, I can attach them, and I'll show you a little bit about how milestones work. I'm not going to touch too much on it. Our last demo day did do an in-depth dive to milestones. So if anyone is interested in more information, just pop a couple questions in chat, and I can also send you out that demo link as well. All right, so we're processed. So once a schedule is processed, and you can tell because the dates are populated, obviously that file status updates. And now when we scroll down, we have an items grid that gives us all of the schedules right here. And these will bring us to tasks. And then obviously, those comments and references that we're used to. So I'm going to toggle over here to tasks. So all of those P6 activities are now my tasks. I have them here. If I wanted to visualize them as a Gantt chart, I'm just going to select them all, hit visualize. And I can see here, I can toggle. I have a nice simple Gantt chart that gives me all of them because I selected them all, but I could just look at I need just a few tasks if I wanted. So I could just do just these couple. So it's very, customizable what you want to see for that Gantt chart. Very useful. Obviously, this is a small schedule. This is just here to be a good demonstration. And then these colors on the side just show that we're a little overdue on this. It's fine. But let's dive into one of these schedules. So here's our task. So we have our additional details. If I had chosen any companies and contacts, they would be here. I'll show you how to add them in a moment. I don't have automatic linking for milestones, but I could add one here. Everything from review and completion and dates, as well as WBS and labor. All of this information is brought in from field. So it's just field mapping from Primavera into our schedule. So anything that isn't populated here is just because I didn't create that on my P6 file. And there are more fields that you can unlock in configuration. That is, that's a different demonstration on that though. So let's go ahead and edit this. And if I wanted to add a company, just add Aaron's company here. Aaron is the contact. And this is purchasing. So this would be part of pre-construction. So let's just add that milestone to it. Save and close. No other fields in this are editable. So now we'll see that I have my milestone here and I have a company and contact populated. So if I close out of here, I have this attached. But what if I have multiple tasks that I need to add, we'll say milestones to? So I'm going to hit multi-edit. Just give it a moment to populate. You'll also probably have to forgive my internet. I am in Southern Colorado right now, and it's kind of windy out, and I'm using Starlink, but it's a little hidden right now. So it might also be my internet that's causing some time here. All right, so we've got some milestones. Let's just add some of these in. Call this all construction phase. Yeah. I'm just going to save a few. You obviously could go all the way down and you'll see that these are added. So now we have, just to give a quick overview of milestones, 4 that are attached to construction. January 6th being the earliest date and January 15th being the latest date. So if we go over to milestones, we'll see that it does that calculation for us. So that's how you set up a record. If you wanted to revise it, so we'll just move forward in time, hit revise. Same process, so we go into that schedule file. We're moving forward to January 6th. I'm going to hit create. And just like before, we save the new schedule to the record, then we submit the record for extraction. Give that a moment. And Aaron, are there any questions?
It doesn't look like any just yet, so you must be doing a good job.
Awesome. I'd love to hear it. All right, I think we are processing failed. Okay, well, sometimes this does happen when I have performance clicked on. If I go here in multi-edit. Yeah, so I do have the actual dates. So that is just part of our earned value. It just means that I don't have my resources loaded in the P6 file correctly, which doesn't matter for this demo today. But really, really good for users that are using cost-loaded schedules. That's a nice, good check there. But you'll see I have a couple actual dates and actual end dates. So again, if I go to milestones, it automatically populates. But let's go to a different project that is in a little further along in the process. So still a washer and dryer install. But now we've got a Microsoft project. I've got 2 revisions in, so I'm past that initial setup. Work is starting to be done. So here I have my same details. It does look a little bit different because Microsoft Project does bring in some different information. I have my task links on, I'm processed, and I have all my scheduled tasks here. So if I go into these tasks, give it a moment. And scroll down here. So you can see that this is well underway. I've got everything with an estimated end date. I've got some with an actual start and actual end, but the one that I want to look at is our washer install. This one is 17% complete based on the date information. This is all brought in from Microsoft Project. I've got all of my dates here that are brought in. I'm not using labor for this, and that I've got predecessors and successors that have been brought in from that Microsoft Project file. But up here, you can see that we have turned assets on. So this one I've already gone in and attached 2 washing machines to this because in the basement, they're going to be getting 2 washers and 2 dryers for the tenants to use. If I click on this, it brings me into assets, and you'll see as part of the asset applications link documents, we have a link back to the schedule task. So any reporting and any data that you're using your assets for will work just like you're using today with scheduling. And then all of those links that I went over before are also here as well. So you can see I have work breakdown, which would bring me to work breakdown. Milestones would bring me into milestones. So this is just another look at a project that is just a little bit bigger, a little bit more robust. We have, again, those multiple schedules schedule tasks going into the milestone. So any reporting that we are doing can roll up to that. On the reporting note, we are in the process of getting some portable views turned on for this. We are hoping as part of our roadmap this year to have some additional reports. Anyone that is using Kahua Analytics, all of this information is in the data store, so you can build your reports from it. I do not have analytics turned on for this demo environment. I do hope to have that in the future, so I can show you some data using that as well. But any analytic reports that you want to pull in your schedule data, you can work with your Kahua representative or your partner to get that set up as well. So let's pop back over to our demonstration. So we covered a lot today, and I hope that if anyone has questions, if they're not in the chat, that you feel free to reach out to Aaron and myself directly. We're always available to answer quick questions, or if you need a little bit more in depth of a demo, we can help set that up. So we covered a lot. Basically, that schedules can enhance your product performance. So whether you're doing, like I had here, just 2 revisions or 200 revisions with your schedule data, updating your project, our schedule is going to handle that, and it's going to really help you leverage your project management to your complete Kahua solution. So with that, I'll ask one more time, Aaron, do we have any questions?
Still none right now, but we can give it about 30 seconds for any last ones to trickle in. But otherwise, like Shannon said, yeah, feel free to reach out to us after this if you still have any that pop into your mind late. We are definitely available.
For sure, for sure. All right, so on behalf of the Runding Data team, and this is actually all of the Rundlings, thanks for joining us today. We're excited to always bring more knowledge around our data tools, our schedule specifically, to help bridge that gap between what you're doing in scheduling and what you're doing with your project management solution inside of Kahua. So our next step is to connect with the person who brought you here. Our next session is going to be in March. The topic is actually TBD. So please, if you're not already following us on LinkedIn, give the Runding page a follow. You can also follow Aaron and myself directly, because we'll be posting all the information for our next demo day there. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining. I very much appreciated it. Have a great day.